what's happening on Wall Street and what did the European markets look like?
Absolutely. So not a lot is happening when you look at the move that came in yesterday, or even what the stock futures are doing. Now, when you look at stock futures, they tick lower as investors looked ahead to a key inflation report due later this week. Now, when you look at what happened in the regular session also, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite ended the day with small gains, up 0.2% and 0.3% respectively. When you look at the Dow as well, that fell for a second straight day, off by about 0.3%. And on Wednesday, of course, investors will look to earnings results from retailer TJX Co and pharma company Viatris, as well as Salesforce, that will also be posting its quarterly numbers. And that's largely what you're looking at when you see the handover. But in terms of the economic front, you do have the wholesale inventories data that is due, and that is something the market will look out for when you look at Qs coming in this week. And when you look at the move coming in for Europe as well, your European markets closed slightly higher, and this was of course amid the shaky global sentiment ahead of US and European inflation data later in the week. So when you look at the stock 600, that ended up 0.2% higher, with most sectors in the positive territory. Mining stocks gained 1.7%, media stocks also fell on the other side 1.1%. DAX closed 0.7% higher, and CAC also closed 0.2% higher thereabout. So that's largely the handover coming in. Not much that's happening, but definitely an important week as to the data that comes in later.
Well, absolutely. And with that, let's also take a look at what's happening in the world of crude. And crude oil futures rose on Tuesday amid uncertainty about the prospects for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. And as some investors expect the OPEC Plus will extend its production cuts beyond the first quarter as well. The West Texas Intermediate, or the WTI contract for April, rose almost $1.29 or 1.6% to settle at $78.87 a barrel. And Brent April futures rose $1.12 or 1.36% to settle at that $83.6 per barrel mark. Now, President Joe Biden told reporters in New York City on Monday night that he hoped a ceasefire would be reached in the Israel-Hamas war by the 4th of March. On the other hand, you have senior Hamas official Ahmed Abdel Hadi, who told a Lebanon news channel that the US proposal does not in fact meet the militant group's demands for a permanent end to the fighting and a complete Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. You also have the Houthi militants playing in over here, because they told Reuters on Tuesday that the group would reconsider its attacks on international shipping and on the Red Sea only if Israel ends its aggression in Gaza. Lots of factoring voices playing over here. On one hand, you have Biden. On the other hand, you have people from Gaza, and then you also have the Houthi militants, playing in over here. Lots of these commentaries that we have got over the last 2 days have affected how oil has moved. Now, OPEC Plus will soon make a decision on whether to extend its production cuts beyond the first quarter. Goldman Sachs, however, expects the reductions to continue through the second quarter, with OPEC Plus gradually and partially phasing them out in the third quarter. So, well, there is not a lot of visibility, Shayansi, when it comes to oil. So let's see how that pans out for these oil markets. But with that, take us through everything important today.
Absolutely, and there's a lot lined up, right? So in terms of global cues, in the Eurozone, you do have economic confidence as well as consumer confidence data sets. And from China, you have that unemployment data that has to come out, that will be in the spotlight. And in terms of corporate action, FEM industries will be trading X bonus in 1:1 ratio. So that one will be in the spotlight. And on the IPO corner, of course, you do have Bharat Highways InvIT IPO that opens. But there's a lot of other events that you should also keep your eye on. And Bill Gates will be visiting Odisha. PM Modi will be launching developmental projects in Maharashtra and also inaugurating ISRO's second largest spaceport. So those two developments will definitely be in the spotlight.